Politeness can open doors in English conversations, but how do we say things politely? Well, it's all about understanding the importance of politeness in communication. Being polite isn't just about saying please and thank you, though those are certainly important. It's about showing respect, consideration, and kindness to others in our words and actions. English, like many languages, has both polite and informal ways of speaking. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. That can make a difference. And sometimes the situation calls for a more formal or polite approach. Now, you might be wondering about the concept of softening language to sound more polite. This means using phrases or words that make your requests or statements less direct, and therefore less demanding or harsh. It's a way to make your speech more gentle and considerate. Now, let's dive into some examples to illustrate this. Scene script. Imagine you're at a cafe and you need something from the waitress. What do you say? Now, consider this scenario. You've just sat down at your favorite cafe and you realize you need an extra spoon. A less polite way to request might be, "Hey, give me a spoon." However, this can come off as demanding and impolite. Instead, a more polite way would be to say, "Excuse me, could you please bring me an extra spoon?" Notice how the phrase, "could you please," makes the request seem less direct and more courteous. Let's examine another situation. You're enjoying your coffee, but the cafe's music is a bit too loud for your liking. You could say, "Turn down the music." But this might be seen as abrupt or rude. Instead, you might say, "Would you mind turning down the music a bit, please?" The phrase, "would you mind," softens your request, making it more polite and respectful. How about when you want to catch the attention of the waitress? You could say, "Hey, you," but that's a bit too informal and could even be seen as disrespectful. A more polite way would be to say, "Excuse me, miss." This is much more courteous and respectful. Let's look at one more example. Suppose you've finished your meal and you're ready to pay. Rather than saying, "Bring me the bill," you could say, "Could I have the bill, please?" Again, see how the phrase, "could I," makes your request seem less direct and more considerate. Remember, using phrases like, "Could you please," and "would you mind," not only shows respect to the person you're speaking with, but also makes your request sound more polite and considerate. These phrases are perfect for making requests in a variety of situations, not just in a cafe, but also in other social settings like at work, in school, or even at home. Notice how these phrases make the request sound less direct and more considerate? Scene script. Saying no can be challenging, but there are ways to do it gracefully in English. In the world of communication, the art of declining requests or invitations politely is as crucial as making requests. It's not just about saying no, it's about saying no in a way that doesn't hurt feelings, damage relationships, or close doors on future opportunities. It's about saying no with grace and respect. Let's take a look at some dialogues to demonstrate different polite ways to say no. Imagine a friend invites you to a party, but you have other commitments. Instead of a blunt no, you could say, "I wish I could, but I have something else planned for that day. Can we catch up another time?" The phrase, "I wish I could, but," is a fantastic way to express regret about not being able to fulfill a request or accept an invitation. Now picture your boss asking you to work on a project, but your plate is already full. You might respond, "I'm afraid I can't take on another project right now. I want to ensure I give my best to the tasks at hand." The phrase, "I'm afraid I can't," is another elegant way to decline. It suggests that your refusal is reluctant, which softens the impact. Or, let's say a colleague asks for your help, but you're swamped with your own work. You could politely refuse by saying, "Unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth to assist at the moment. Could we possibly look at this later?" The word "unfortunately" expresses regret, making your refusal less direct and more considerate. Remember, the key to polite refusal is to be honest, yet tactful. It's about expressing your inability to fulfill a request or an invitation without leaving the other person feeling rejected. And crucially, it leaves the door open for future possibilities. So the next time you need to say no, think about how you can do it in a way that respects the other person's feelings and maintains the relationship. Remember, it's all about making the other person feel respected even when you're saying no. Scene script. Everyone makes mistakes, but do you know how to apologize properly in English? We all stumble, we all falter, and that's okay. What's important is that we own up to our mistakes and apologize when necessary. Apologies are not just about saying sorry. They are a way to express regret for our actions and to show that we understand the impact of our actions on others. Let's dive into some dialogues to better understand how to express regret in English. Imagine you've accidentally stepped on someone's foot in a crowded bus. You could say, "Oh, I'm really sorry for stepping on your foot." This sentence not only conveys your regret, but also specifies what you're apologizing for, which makes your apology more meaningful. Now consider another scenario. Suppose you've missed an important meeting with a colleague. You could say, "Please accept my apologies for missing our meeting. I promise this won't happen again." Here, you're not just expressing regret, but also assuring the other person that you'll try your best not to repeat the mistake. Remember, the key to a good apology is sincerity. If you genuinely feel sorry, it will reflect in your words. You can also use phrases like "I deeply regret" or "I sincerely apologize for" to add more depth to your apologies. Just as there are many ways to express regret, there are also various ways to respond to an apology. You could say, "That's okay," or "No worries," to let the other person know that you've forgiven them. On the other hand, if you're still upset, you might say, "I appreciate your apology, but I need some time to think." In English, we use apologies to express regret, take responsibility for our actions, and mend our relationships. They are an essential part of our day-to-day interactions, helping us maintain good relations with the people around us. So the next time you make a mistake, don't shy away from apologizing. Use phrases like "I'm really sorry for," and "Please accept my apologies for," to express your regret sincerely. Apologizing sincerely can mend bridges and maintain good relationships. We've covered a lot today. Let's take a moment to recap. In our journey through the art of polite English, we've traversed through 4 key areas. We kicked off with a look at the power of polite English, recognizing its role as a bridge builder in conversations. We saw that being polite can open doors, foster amicable relationships, and make our interactions smoother and more pleasant. Then we delved into the realm of polite requests. We explored phrases like, "Could you please," "Do you mind if," or "Would it be possible?" all tailored to ask for something in a courteous and respectful way. Remember, it's not just what you ask for, but how you ask for it that matters. From there, we ventured into the territory of polite refusals. We acknowledged that saying no can be tricky, but it's also important to maintain our boundaries. Phrases like, "I'm afraid I can't," "I'd love to, but," or "perhaps another time," can help us decline offers or requests without causing offense. Next, we navigated through the crucial landscape of polite apologies. We learned that owning our mistakes and apologizing sincerely can mend fences and preserve relationships. Expressions like, "I'm sorry for," "I regret," or "Please accept my apologies for," can go a long way in expressing remorse and making amends. Now it's time for you to put this knowledge into practice. Try to incorporate these polite phrases into your daily English conversations. Experiment with them, see which ones feel natural and comfortable for you. Practice is key here. The more you use these phrases, the more instinctive they'll become, and the more effectively you'll be able to communicate with courtesy and respect. Remember, being polite in English is more than just using the right words. It's about showing respect and consideration for others. So let's continue to cultivate our language skills, and in doing so, foster a culture of kindness and mutual respect. Before we wrap up, here's one last tip for you. It's crucial to spend time listening to native English speakers. This is a foolproof way to pick up polite phrases and expressions that are commonly used in day-to-day conversation. You see, learning a language isn't just about grammar and vocabulary. It's also about the nuances, the subtle ways people express politeness that can truly make a difference in how your communication is perceived. Moreover, remember that practice makes perfect. The more you use these polite expressions, the more natural they will become for you. Don't be disheartened if you fumble or make mistakes initially. That's part of the learning process. Embrace these moments, as they become stepping stones towards your mastery of English communication. In conclusion, the journey to fluent and polite English conversation is a rewarding one. It's an art that you can indeed master with time, patience, and practice. Keep practicing, stay curious, and you'll master the art of polite English conversation in no time.